Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, it's FJ. Uh, Coming to you from back home. Looking old, looking haggard. I hate how I look, partially why I became a VTuber. But yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about that? You ever know? Get the pink on me. Oh, that's way too pink. Hold on. That's way too pink. How about a little less pink? Hold on. There you go. It's a little whitewash, but whatever. Um, I wanted to record this right quick because a lot of people don't know that I even had to leave where I was at in Kentucky for the last three and a half years. That's where I met most everybody at, and last week essentially I just kind of had to like up and move, if that makes sense. I'm looking at the OBS camera of me and not the camera, so I can look right there and then man, I hate I hate how I look. But hello Aurora. Aurora hopped up on the desk even though she's not supposed to be up here. But basically, to try and keep this short and sweet, my roommate of three and a half, almost 4 years. Hello, Aurora. Hello. Um, he's one of my best friends. I've known him for over a decade. He's the one that helped me out. Actually going to Kentucky, letting me stay in his room all those years, pay rent and all that stuff. Helped me get the job that I had that you saw me complain about so much. But he helped me get all that, and it helped me, become a VTuber. It helped me meet you guys. It helped me do a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do the last few years. But unfortunately, as I found out last year, actually around this time of year, um, I had not known before. A lot of his friends hadn't known before, but I'm not gonna name his names. If you know me, know him. He suffers from being bipolar. I don't know if it's bipolar one. I don't know if it's bipolar two, but he suffers from, you know, being bipolar in so many words. And now I'm no stranger to mental health or anything like that. My dad died when I was 21, 22. I developed depression and anxiety, but not to the point where I need any meds to control it or anything like that. It's a mild form where it just kind of hits me and I get over it. I'm lucky. Like obviously, having it all sucks and dealing with it sucks, but not having to, not having to need to be on meds to control it is a good thing. It's a good thing. I don't have to be on meds. I don't have to be anything like that. But when you're on bipolar, you kind of have to be on meds. And last year he went off of his meds. It made his family worried, his grandma and his mom. That's a burp, excuse me. His grandma, his mom. We had to take him into a place. He was there for about a week. Came back out. He was on his meds for about a month and a half, and then right after Christmas, um, he wasn't on his meds again. And a little more drastic of a thing happened where basically he tried to hurt himself and had a big episode at another person's house where I wasn't at. And he was in there for about 3 weeks to make sure that he got on his meds because that's what you do. Like when you're not on your meds for a while, it weans. For whatever reason, he was off the meds, but once you're off the meds and it's out of your system, and you have bipolar, basically mania happens a lot more frequently and easier, and that's basically what happened last year. He got home in mid-January, somewhere around there, and he had been taking his meds all the way up until about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 weeks ago. Then we started to notice his grandma first because she's with him every day. I'm his roommate and everything, and we talk. I didn't notice anything because, we say hey, we're like, oh yeah, what's up? How you doing, man? And we talk a little bit, but I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, anything like that. That was until about 3 weeks ago when his grandma brought it up to me that he's been acting strange. He said he hasn't been taking his meds or anything like that. Um, so obviously, with his history, we were a little worried. I know I'm going into a lot of detail. I'm trying to keep it vague and all that stuff because hearing a story like this, maybe you've gone through it with a family member, maybe like me, you've gone through it with a friend. Um, it's hard to go through. I look tired and haggard partially because I'm old. Um, but also partially because I've moved basically overnight. Last Tuesday morning, I believe, or last Monday night, not, the week of Halloween, essentially. So the week leading, I basically started packing Monday night. I packed when I got home from work on Tuesday. Um, and then Wednesday morning, I went to tell my job that I had to quit because I had to go. I didn't feel safe at home anymore. And then by Wednesday at noon, I was on my way here. Um, and by Thursday at about 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I got here, my mom's house in Arkansas. So I'm in a safe place. But back to the story. It was about 4 weeks ago now. We learned that he probably wasn't taking his meds anymore, and he weaned himself off his meds. I hadn't noticed it until she brought it up, but quickly thereafter, I started to notice he would tell me that he'd tell me he was hearing buzzing. He would turn the electricity off and on because he said it's interfering with his stuff, and just all this sort of stuff. And it gradually increased to a more alarming things like turning the power off in the house, and stuff like telling his grandma or telling me directly that he had been doing hard drugs as well, which is another, big no-no when you're on bipolar because you already aren't on your meds, and now if you're actually doing hard drugs, we don't know if he was or wasn't, but if you are doing hard drugs, it messes with your brain that's already messed with further, which is another alarming thing, which started to make me feel unsafe because we were trying to be like, hey man, you want us to take you to get back on your meds and all this stuff, and he would never do it. And we get it. He's an adult. If he doesn't want to be on his meds, he doesn't have to be on his meds. That's his choice. It's not my choice. It's not their choice. That's his choice. Who's to say who's in the right, who's in the wrong? We tried. We want to help him because, for lack of a better term, we care for him, and we wanted to help him. But it got to the point where he needed to be in a place, and he got taken to a place, and they let him out, or he somehow got out the next day and ended up at home when we thought he was going to be there for at least a few weeks to get back on his meds. Uh, then I took him to the ER that night because the place I took him, the first time I'd ever taken him to the place myself, um, they told me to take him to the ER. They'll do an eval and they'll send him back here. So after, an 8-hour shift at work, I got home for about an hour and then was out of the house again until 7, 8 p.m. when I took him to the ER, made sure he was in to see a doctor, and then I left because I had to work at the time. I had to go home, I had to work. I had to, still pay the bills, in the house. I still had to do all of that. So, um, we didn't hear for him. We didn't hear about him because we assumed he had gone to his grandma and I, because his grandma and I talked about it. Pretty much every day we would see if there's any updates or anything like that. So me and his grandma didn't hear anything over the weekend because we assumed that, I took him in on, well, I think it would end up being Thursday. We're like, well, we'll check on, the weekend. We'll call the place. We assume he's in there. He dropped him off at the ER. He made sure he was seeing a doctor. There's no way they just let him go, essentially. Um, the Monday before I left, uh, essentially last Monday, well, I guess the Monday before last now, we found out that he had just up and left the ER after I left. They had no record of him being in there or anything like that, and he had just up and left the ER, and we don't know why, we don't know where he went. It turns out because he's in some sort of, manic state, not on his meds or anything like that. He had broken into somebody's porch, and he had got arrested for it, which makes sense. You break, you enter illegally, um, you're gonna get in trouble for it. Do I think he was doing it maliciously? Absolutely not. I believe he's not in his right mind, and he thought he was just going home and getting into his house, if that makes any sense. But essentially, that was the tipping point for me. Uh, I'd been trying to deal with it myself mentally, process it mentally, for a long time. Those 3 weeks, I was looking for an apartment. I made good money. Like I made good money, or good enough money. I'm not, I wasn't rich, but I was able to, buy my fucking Pokemon cards. I was able to help you guys out on Twitch and sub to people and do a little joke donation every once in a while and put on trainer schools and stuff like that and give away little prizes. I was able to do that. And, the work sucked because it's a job, but it was steady and I had insurance and all that good stuff. Um, but it just wasn't enough to find an apartment quick enough, or the places that would normally take me didn't have any apartments available. And I was looking for a couple weeks, and then it just got to the point where it was like I had to go. I didn't feel safe for myself. Um, I didn't feel safe for Aurora, and I didn't feel safe for him because obviously he didn't want to change or, you know, get back on his meds, which could result in something bad happening to him or me or Aurora. And then if something bad happened to him or me or Aurora, obviously not good, and I didn't want that. I was stressing out over that. I was stressing out over that plus work plus everything else in life. So I basically up and moved. Um, a lot of you guys out there, um, a lot of you guys out there actually helped me out with the U-Haul rental that I needed. I did not expect you guys to help me out as much as you guys did, but you guys basically paid for almost all of the U-Haul rental. Like obviously I had to cover gas and stuff, but pretty sure about 85% of the U-Haul rental was was made possible by you guys on just such short notice. And I cannot thank the people that donated enough. I was not expecting that much. I wasn't expecting much of anything. I had enough to do it myself, but desperate times like, hey, everybody wants to help out with like say gas or something. And then I just I am forever thankful to you guys who did um who did donate and help me out with the U-Haul. Basically, I packed up the U-Haul on my own over a couple days. I drove here on my own. I hooked my car up to the back of the U-Haul. I'd never driven a U-Haul before. So basically, in the span of what Tuesday until Wednesday afternoon, I basically packed up most all of my belongings and you know had to come back home because I just didn't feel safe. So that's why you've been seeing even more. I wouldn't say depressing, maybe a little distressing, maybe a little more down than usual. Usually, I have an air of joking about my being down and depressed and all that stuff and self-deprecation because that's just how I deal with things. I very much like, I very much like dark humor. So that's why I'm always self-deprecating. It might not be a good thing, but it's how I help deal with some of the stuff that I'm going through. Um, Mental health is no joke. Um, like I said, I've been dealing with anxiety and depression for the last about 10 years now since my dad passed away. I now have first-hand experience with my roommate that I just had to, kind of get out from with somebody who's got. I'm not saying anxiety and depression are small, but compared to somebody being bipolar and not taking their meds and stuff, it's a little more serious of a thing for somebody with bipolar and all that to not be on their meds than somebody who like me. Like, say I went on meds, maybe I'd be a little more, I'd be a little less self-deprecating, but I don't have the desire to like harm myself or harm others or do anything like that. But somebody who's manic and not on their meds and bipolar obviously might have more of those tendencies than say I would. So mental health is no joke, and now being around somebody for as long as I was, about a year, um, I understand that people go through stuff, and even if you're friends, even if you're roommates, you might not notice. Because, like I said, I didn't notice that he was even that different until it just it just kind of happened out of nowhere. If that makes any sense. Like he was pretty fine, then his grandma brought it up, and then it's like the snowball started rolling. I'm like, whoa, you are doing some weird stuff, and you're doing some odd stuff, and If you like, it was just a snowball that it was a snowball that turned into an avalanche real quick. So I guess what I want to say is, um, I don't know if I'm going to be how long I'm going to be here with mom. Maybe I find another roommate in another state that might be a little more suited for my life than Arkansas is, because we're kind of rural out here. I don't mind it, and I do have enough money to live on for at least a few months, so I don't necessarily have to look for work right away or anything like that. So I can definitely stay here for a little bit and decompress because I've just been stressed to the max for pretty much all of October, if that makes sense, between work at the time and my roommate, and then moving out of nowhere and trying. I it's it's why I was doing so even less than I normally do internet wise, because I was just trying to take care of me, which everybody needs to do. So that's the update. I'm okay. I haven't heard from his grandma or his mom about how he's doing. I assume that if they did let him out, he's either not on his meds, and I just have no idea. I have no way to contact him because in his mania, he stopped using his phone. So I have no way to contact him, and unless, you know, he, you know, wants to change and wants to let them know that he wants to change, uh, I, I just don't know. Um, but yeah, that's the update. I've had a lot of people that I've talked to be like, "Whoa, what the hell happened, FJ? What the hell happened, Matt? I didn't know you moved." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I kind of fucking, I kind of moved overnight, essentially. Like, I basically was packing, like I said, packing on Monday night, and I left like around noon on Wednesday. So it was a quick thing, but I just felt like I had to do it. So this is the update. I'll probably cut this down a little bit. There are a lot of ums. Maybe I'll just leave it as is. I don't know. But like I said during the middle, I want to thank anybody that donated essentially to me when I made the initial post a few weeks back, because you guys basically paid for most of the actual rental of the U-Haul, which is it's not cheap. And then so it saved me a good bit of money. And I didn't think I was gonna be like, oh, maybe somebody will drop like a 50 and it'll help me with the gas, for the U-Haul. But not as much as y'all did. Um, I've never done. This is another thing. I've never done any sort of charity stream or anything like that. But definitely over the next month or so of November, I'm going to be researching mental health charities and some of the better ones. And then probably early December, I want to, as a give back thing for you guys that helped me get out of that situation. And I know I'm fortunate because a lot of people who are in my situation don't have can't just go back home to their mom or can't just go to a friend or anything like that. And I realize I'm very lucky that I was even able to get out of there, because a lot of people just can't get out of there. And I do realize that. So what I want to do is look up some mental health organizations, like some of the better ones, and then do some sort of charity stream in early December to try and raise some money for, a mental health charity, because I feel like uh, once you start going through something like this, you want to try and, even if you can't do it all yourself, you want to try and, if you can, help others possibly who are going through it, whether it's getting the meds they need or they're like me who need to actively get out of there and get somewhere else. So over this next month or so, I'm probably going to be researching charities and stuff like that that deal with mental health, and then we'll have a charity stream in December, because I feel like now going through this at a more personal level, that I really do want to try and help out even just a little bit, just because you guys helped me out so much. But yes, in short, I had to move. My roommate was making me fearful. I got a lot of help from you guys. I got some help from my mom by letting me stay in this place here. I want to thank you guys. I don't know if mom's going to watch this, but if mom, you do watch this, I love you and thank you for letting me stay here, whether it's a few months or whatever it ends up being. And yeah, I said about 400 times, so I wrote this off I didn't even write this. This is just all off my noggin and what I've been thinking and what I've been feeling the last month or so. But definitely, if you if you do have mental problems and you're watching this and you're not on your meds, um, I, you are not just affecting you, you are affecting essentially everybody around you, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends, whether it's your significant other, whatever. If you're not on, if you're not you because you're not on your meds or you should be on your meds or whatever it is, or you're not getting help for any of it, and you're not you, your friends notice, your family notices, and if it gets to a really bad point, if it gets to a really bad point, then it could, turn into the legal system notices, which I don't necessarily want that for anybody that I know or anybody out there to, you know, be going through any of this and having legal problems or friend problems or significant other problems or family problems. Because while it may be hard to get help, it's it's definitely a lot harder if you are, you know, in the legal system for doing illegal things or trying to get help while, your social life's in turmoil. So if you're not on your meds or anything like that, or you're not getting help and you do have mental anguish or whatever, please, I urge you with this little video and this little TED talk of mine to, if you can get help, even if it's not professional help, just talking to a friend about it or anything like that will definitely be something that can even alleviate things just in the short term, you know. So thank you for listening. I am safe. Uh, the move went well. I don't I'm as about as set up as I can be in this room in this area of the house. And like I said, hopefully, by the start of next month, we'll be able to do some sort of charity stream for a mental health charity, and because I want to get back to you guys, I'm rambling now. I'm saying things over and over, so that means it's probably time for me to end this. But like I said, I'm safe. Aurora's safe. Aside from the other cats here, they're all getting used to each other and fighting. But we're both safe. I have an area set up. Not worried about my roommate, aka my mom now, I guess, killing me or hurting me or Aurora in the middle of the night or anything. So, um, yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of whenever you're watching this.